at that.
Janine's gonna show up like any second.
Yeah, as soon as we start.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh well.
Good luck with cutting this.
Wait, did I hit all the records right here? Okay, that'll be fun. We'll be like Bill O'Reilly. We'll do it live. All right.
Oh, God damn.
That fell.
One of these days we should make a blooper reel.
Maybe. I think I'm in frame.
All
If
right.
not, this will be awkward.
Amanda, are we in frame?
Amanda, are we in frame?
Yeah, why are we saying I think when we have someone who can check?
Yes.
Good.
Okay, beautiful. So, long time no see, quite literally.
Yeah, hi. We're not in disembodied voices anymore.
I know, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But we've got other people over there judging us secretly.
Yeah.
No, they're really judging.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, let's get this.
So, this is, you're going to be away for the next couple weeks.
As
right?
usual.
Going down to Disney. You're taking that train, right?
Yep.
All right. How does that work? It goes like to Virginia,
Yeah,
down to Florida?
We pick it up in Virginia, it goes down to Florida, leaves at 4 o'clock, arrives at 9 the next morning.
So, not too bad.
No, I know something that is bad that you were telling me about.
Yes, all right, so Nike's not been on my good list so far this year.
Why is that?
Well, I've always been a New Balance sneaker guy. They're just naturally wider.
Then it was doomed from the start.
There's that. Let's see, they had some dope-ass shoes for 4th of July, but Colin Kaepernick decided to get rid of those somehow.
Yeah.
And there were some dope-ass
I mean, you could also... Betsy Ross.
Betsy Ross.
You were about to say Betty Ross.
I was like thinking Betty Crocker.
Yeah, good Lord.
My mind's on food.
Yeah, but I was gonna say for some people you could even say their whole relationship with Kaepernick is.
Yeah, it's a little too brown nosy.
Yeah.
But now they have this thing where now they're sponsoring MLB jerseys, and the swoosh is now on the front of the Yankees jersey.
Not just the Yankees jersey, everyone's jerseys.
Yeah, but I take more offense for the Yankees.
Yeah.
That's a big no-no.
Yeah, it is definitely curious. I do know this is not the first time that a logo has been on a jersey. The previous sponsor, Majestic, had it on the sleeve, but when they...
It's a little different.
Yeah, when they went to negotiate the uniform deal for the next 10 years, they opened up the front of the jersey for logos, and that's why we have the swoosh on the chest.
It's just soccer should just stick to having all the stupid sponsorships.
Yeah. Curiously, though, when they announced the design, they only said this would be the design for 2020 through 2021. So I wonder if they
change.
Yeah, I guess maybe if there's enough backlash, which honestly, it looks weird on the Yankee jersey. That's uncomfortable. But aside from the Yankee jersey, I don't really have a problem with it. Where I could see a problem coming in is individual players. Like, go back to the Colin Kaepernick thing. And I think at this point we've covered Kaepernick quite a bit over the duration of this show and what he stands for. And
Nobody doesn't.
Yeah. Somewhere in this country, someone's going to look at this and say, "How dare you?" And we're going to say back, "How dare you?" Because if you can't make light of a joke, you can't say a joke.
No.
But anyway, so what if people in baseball say, "I don't stand for Nike's values, and I don't want that logo on that," and teams say, "Well, tough, you have to do that." I mean, I don't really see that happening because baseball has not really been much of a hotbed for social activism like and the NFL and the NBA have. But
I mean,
it's still
people
a possibility.
probably, like the regular everyday person, probably couldn't identify the best player in MLB baseball the last decade.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be able to figure out who Mike Trout was
I mean,
at all. And despite him not having to wear a football helmet or anything.
I mean, that's partly because of the Angels' irrelevancy.
That too, but he's also just more focused on learning about the weather than he is about being on Twitter and whatnot.
I'd say Trout's an outlier because he does not actively try to put himself out there, like to the point where baseball even got upset at him.
Yeah, I know. That was like really sad.
Yeah, I would say where baseball would have more success with marketing is with the current group of young roster. So Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, I was about to say Madison Bumgarner, but he's not young.
He's-
Yeah. But thinking like the young rookies that came up
yeah.
last year.
Gleyber Torres. could
Gleyber
be good.
Torres, the juniors up in Toronto,
Mm.
and Jordan Alvarez.
Mm.
Those are the young. We've said it before. This is one of the best young
Oh,
rookie crops in a generation. Honestly,
Oh yeah, and like I've said before, I think my favorite one is Vladdy Jr. I mean,
Yeah.
did you see the video of his dad taking some batting practice and then handing the bat over to him?
Yeah.
And hitting the ball? I was just like, it just warms my heart. Back to jerseys though, we haven't heard what Cole gave Voigt to get the number.
yeah.
He hasn't said. He said he wasn't sure if he was allowed to say. Do you have any speculations?
I'd say a dinner.
A good dinner.
A very good dinner, and maybe a watch.
Good-
They're
yeah.
usually
They always
symbolic.
get like the good Rolex watches.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of uniforms, I would also be remiss to say mention Nomar Mazara, who was one of the Rangers fashionistas doing the catwalk when they announced their new uniforms, and then not even a month later, got swiftly traded to the White Sox.
Too much trading. But speaking of trading, the Tampa Bay Rays might be trading their city
Yeah,
in the
complete.
upcoming years. So that's an
Yeah,
interesting
that
debacle.
originally that they were going to explore a sister city concept with Montreal.
I don't think that
And
would work.
I didn't think so either.
Especially the flight time.
Yeah.
I mean,
But-
it's not the time change fully, but it's a long.
And also the fact that a city's basically having to share
Yeah.
their sports team. But in
Doesn't-
any event, the mayor of Tampa Bay said, "No, your lease is through this time. You're stuck in here."
Yeah.
And it sounds like they're not even being negotiable for a new stadium, to the point where the Rays, I think the vice president, said that it doesn't sound like, based on the conversations with the owner, that there's going to be full-time baseball in Tampa Bay in 2028. Now that could be that the sister city concept, because I know the owner, Stuart Steinberg, has been very, very vocal about trying to keep baseball in the Tampa Bay area, but there are a lot of other cities that are looking for stadiums. Montreal really wants a ballpark back. Nashville has been very outspoken in its desire for a major league team.
We see something in Las Vegas.
Las
maybe?
Vegas, Charlotte.
Um,
I'll tell you one group that's probably really happy about the discord in Tampa Bay. That ownership group. I'm not sure if you're aware that, and there's an ownership group that wants to bring a baseball team to Orlando.
Really, Orlando.
Yes, and originally it didn't look feasible because how close they are to Tampa Bay. But if Tampa Bay is not longed for this world, that opens up that opens up Orlando as a easier spot for a franchise.
Now if say the Rays move to Montreal and then you open up a team in Las Vegas and Orlando, how does that affect the scheduling? Do you still have 162 games? Do you drop it to 150 like possible talks? 'Cause you don't want to really expand it, but you're going to lose a lot of revenue.
We're going to see the next time there's expansion. There's going to be radical realignment. Honestly, that they're probably going to go to a four division format. They might do away with normal rivalries and
Yeah,
leagues
because you
and-
can't have the Yankees Mets play each other every year. You got to do it. You do it like football and just play one division.
No one wants to play the Yankees.
No,
in that
but
division.
I'm just saying in general though, like so that it's like fair.
Yeah,
a little bit.
And the
more.
problem is with how Major League Baseball is structured right now, it's hard to really. I've done several scenarios where, all right, put a team in Charlotte and Montreal. How would a four division format work? Or Las Vegas and Orlando. The problem is you can't. You can get like a Northeast division. You can get a Central division, a West division. The South is really barren of teams. That you have the two teams in Texas. You have Atlanta, and the two teams in Florida. So that's 5 teams. Even if you only put 4, that's not enough to handle two leagues worth of divisions.
Yeah, otherwise you're going to end up with. Right now you have the Astros in Texas playing in the Western, and it's not really Western.
Or you have in the old days where Atlanta was considered part of the West.
Yeah, They gotta like redo some stuff, and then they gotta do reseeding. Like you should be able to do it like you have in basketball, where even if you're the number 6 team in that division, but if you're better than that third division leader, you should be able to leapfrog some of those teams.
Well, as I said before, that it should be if you have 4 divisions, have 4 division winners, 4 wild card spots. Each division winner in the first round faces a wild card. Best of 3, but a home series at the division winner. And that way you have more teams you have 16 teams out of 32, so 50% of the league gets into the playoffs.
Yeah, but that still brings to the thing. Say Yankees, Red Sox, and Tampa all decide to like win 95 games one year, and then it's sort of like, all right, well, maybe Texas wins the division, but they only won 92 games.
Well,
shouldn't they be I think they should be seated higher.
No, because Texas would still be higher because
we talked too long. We forgot to put a timer on.
Yeah. Anyway, you
so
had a question.
I was saying the seating should be that if you have the more wins, you should be able to get that higher seed. And your concern was, shouldn't the reward be you win the division, you get to host that game? And to me, I thought, no, the reward is you win the division, you get a playoff spot, not the higher seed.
Yeah. Still, only a handful of times since the wild card era has begun that a wild card winner has gone to the World Series. The ones that come to mind are 2 times with Kansas City, San Francisco, Washington, and the 2 Marlins. Mm-hmm. Those are the only ones offhand that I remember. So offhand, that's 5 out of 94. So not even 20% of the time.
Yeah, but
so I'd say it's still a big deal. Obviously, the fact that it's hard to tell because in the case of the Marlins, that would happen when there was only 1 wild card. Mm. In the other 3 cases, there was 2 wild card slots, and they had a playing game.
Did the Giants have 2?
Actually,
the
I don't think.
In 08?
No. This would have been. I think it was
2012.
No, 2014.
2014.
Yeah, I think that was when they had the 2 split.
Yeah, because I know the wild card won that first year they did that.
Yeah.
Which
is
a big important thing.
And then 2015 was the
Royals.
No, wait, no, 2014. That was the all wild card World Series because the Royals got in on the wild card and the Giants got in on one. So in the time when they've had 2 wild cards, maybe 30% of the time, which is going to expand the more.
And to switch over a little bit to football, I don't know how much you've been paying attention to the standings or heard things, but the Cowboys and Eagles and the Giants and the Redskins are all terrible this year.
Oh, I knew that. The Giants notably so. What was it, 8 in a row before they won?
Something like that. But the Eagles, they're Super Bowl champs in these last couple of years. And the Cowboys are up and down depending on whatever mood the Cowboys decide to be in. And the Cowboys kept losing, but the Eagles kept finding ways to not win games and have the division. And both teams are now sitting at like 7-7, while we have like 4 other teams that are better than they are, that are fighting for number 1 seed between the Packers, the Seahawks, the 49ers, the Vikings could be in the mix if they win this weekend. So these teams are all sitting at like 10, 11 wins right now, and some of them are going to be relegated to the 10th, to the 6th seed, maybe depending on how things go. Maybe they don't even make the playoffs with how things are going. And the Saints as well, they're in that mix, and it's just crazy. But you also have to remember, say Seattle's on the losing end of this, and they have a very good record, and say the 49ers beat them out for that division and they're dropped to like that 5th or 6th seed, you got to remember, like Russell Wilson's like first or second year, they had a 7-9 record, won their division, everyone laughed at them, and then Marshawn Lynch had that monster run, and literally the crowd stomped so hard and cheered so hard it set off the Richter scale for an earthquake. and they ended up shocking the Saints, who were like
Yeah.
the odds-on favorite to possibly win the Super Bowl that year. So yes, you can't count out teams with inferior records, even though they win their division title. But I still don't think they should be granted that privilege of
Well, you just
hosting.
said something that as you said, the Seahawks, they use the crowd on their side.
Yeah, well, it's the 12th man for them.
Yeah, and that's why I said that's what the reward for winning the division should be. You get home field advantage. You get that crowd, and a wild card team says you gotta get past. You gotta get past an entire road series before you see that home field advantage again, if even, depending on what. Because I say once you get out of that wild card round, then home field advantage gets seeded by record. So if say Texas won their division, Tampa was a wild card, but Tampa got out of that first round and they have a better record than Texas, then Tampa gets home field advantage. Based
See, I feel
on
like you're
record.
crossing too many lines there. I think it's got to be consistent.
You think it should be consistent?
I think it's got to be consistent. Either you give it to the team with the better record overall, or you just go by division. My dad is looking out at the door.
I think we're running out of
looking
time
for
for
people.
this.
Yeah, we're starting to run a little bit out of time.
So
So I guess this is an argument we'll fight out to the death later on.
yeah, and as we get closer to seeing how baseball's divisions will get laid out.
Yeah, there's still a whole lot of groundwork, and then of course we didn't even get to touch on Betances where he might sign.
Hey, we'll touch on him when he does sign.
But we've got a good couple weeks to catch up more on that stuff. But it's been a good video reunion-ish sort of thing.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll have some to come as more people are entering the specialist party. All right, see ya.